Hello, Honda here. In my $10 studio, I was watching CoffeeZilla's Logan Poll video.
CryptoZoo.co game that makes you money.
How much did you guys make from CryptoZoo?
I lost around $50,000 in CryptoZoo.
I am not going to explain the story. If you haven't, you should watch the original videos. They are great and they are linked in the description. There are multiple parties involved here, and I am not here to say who's the main bad guy, who's the side bad guy. There's plenty of bad guys here. That's the job for the judge. As a software engineer, the problem to me is the engineering and the timeline. The game is so simple. Still in CoffeeZilla's graph here. You buy coin, use coin to buy egg, you hatch egg, you get animals, and then you breed animals, and the animal generate you money every once in a while, and that's it. Alright. You can also
Burn your animal NFTs to release the zoo they earned back to you.
The only slightly complex part is animals are NFTs and there's a cryptocurrency involved. But in the end, it's still a very simple game. The project was launched September 2021. So how the hell did it take over a year and still it's not fixed fully? At this time, January 4th, this is what I get when trying to go on CryptoZoo's website. Builders build. CryptoZoo is undergoing upgrades to the core infrastructure of the ecosystem. What infrastructure? To show you how easy it is, I am going to show you how I, a single regular programmer, if you're not single, I'm married, but how I can create this game on a blockchain in one single day. Spoiler alert, it took me 2 days. Now, we already know how the game works. Mostly, I cannot confirm because, builders build. I came up with a quick 5-step plan. Find tech stack. Make design, code, profit. I'm obviously a genius because every single software can be developed this way. First up, we find the tech stack. For that, we just use whatever CryptoZoo is using. Easy peasy. So I found this Coinbase page detailing what is CryptoZoo. Now, according to Coinbase, 10,000 first-generation base eggs thought to be stored in a smart contract on Ethereum and the Binance Smart Chain at the game's launch. So we find our tech stack. Ethereum. Ethereum. Smart contract. ERC. I'm gonna confess, I am a former video game engineer and now a backend engineer. And I have never done any crypto-related work. I have no idea what any of these words means in a technical sense. To start coding, obviously I need to do some research. Here's what I learned. Let's start by talking about the very basics of the blockchain. First off, you can transfer cryptocurrencies between people. For example, if A paid B 10 Dogecoins, this is called a transaction. When you have a bunch of transactions, you group them together, it becomes a block. When you have a chain of blocks, that becomes a blockchain. Think human centipede. That's not a great analogy. Don't think that. Now, a blockchain network is that when you have a lot of computers, think gaming PCs, they join the network. Every one of those gaming PCs, there's only 3 here, but imagine there's 10,000. Every single one of these gaming PCs, or I just call them computers, they host the exact same copy of the blockchain. There isn't enough space for 3 computers here. The more computer in the network, the more security. But technically, to create a not secure blockchain, for example, you don't need it to be secure when you are developing. So you use a personal blockchain to help you. And that personal blockchain consists of only 1 computer. So how does a new block get added to the blockchain? Some of the computers in the blockchain network, they are registered as miners. Miners means they will propose new block and they will verify new blocks. So a miner of the blockchain is going to, in memory, keep a new block and it's going to be receiving transactions. 1 request, 2 requests, 3 requests. Once a miner thinks there's enough transactions here to justify a new block, proposes. The miner that proposes the block is going to send the new block to a lot of the other miners. And once enough other miners verify the new block is legit, that miner will add that new block to their own copy of the blockchain. So you go from the block proposer having the new block to all the computers in the network has the new block. So that's how blockchain keeps consensus. Now, what is a smart contract? Remember, we have all these transactions. The smart contracts, they define what transactions do. So transactions are not limited to just recording transaction from 2 people. It's not limited to just A paid B. Not that easy. Basically, it can do anything. So in addition to A pay B 10 Dogecoin, you can do B minted 5 NFTs. That's a valid transaction. Or you can add this, C farted in this phase. That can also be a valid transaction if you are dedicated enough to make a smart contract just for that. And that's what we are basically going to do. Now, smart contract is not available on every blockchain. Ethereum is the most popular smart contract platform. So that's what we are going. Ethereum smart contracts are written in this language, Solidity. The confusing part is there are multiple platforms that support Solidity. So the Binance Smart Chain that CryptoZoo runs on is one chain that supports Solidity. And the main advantage of that is it's cheap, but we are not cheap. So I'm going to cross it off from our requirement list. Alright, so those are some high-level explanation of how blockchain works. Do you now feel confident enough and equipped enough to make your own smart contract? Yeah, neither did I. I decided it is best to learn from examples. After going through a few blog posts and all the stuff, I found there are plenty of ways to develop and deploy smart contracts, almost too many. I landed on this tool called Truffle. Note, not affiliated, because it provides truffle boxes that are basically example smart contracts that can be directly deployed to a blockchain. So that's very convenient for me. Basically calling command truffle on box downloads the truffle box onto your computer, and calling truffle migrate deploys the smart contract in the box to the blockchain. Yes, it is that easy. So you just downloaded this Truffle official coin project. Let's check out what it has. So a smart contract project is actually just like any other code project. It's just a bunch of files in a folder. In this parent folder, we got MetaCoin, which contains all the things. And then we have contracts folder that contains the two contracts that we have. They're suffix SOL because they're written in Solidity. Then we got the migration folder. It contains the deployment script. It defines basically how you're going to deploy your smart contract. And then there's test. No one cares about test. Just kidding. And last, we have truffle config, which is a config that basically defines which blockchain are we deploying to. You know, boring stuff like that. So what we are really trying to learn is how a smart contract for a coin works. And we got it right here, the MetaCoin. Obviously not affiliated with Meta. In the MetaCoin code, we can see the actual code of MetaCoin is actually very minimal, 24 lines of code. I have never touched Solidity code, but the syntax of this language is really simple, basically like JavaScript, but not as painful. Even if you don't know how to code, you can try to follow along. You have this function sendCoin, which obviously what it does is going to be send coins. Now when you send coin, you gotta have a sender and you gotta have a receiver. Now send coin is ridiculously simple. You reduce the balance of the sender by the coin amount to send, and you increase the balance of the receiver. Yeah, and you also emit an event, which we don't care. And obviously, you can also get balance. Yeah, you look up the balance, and that's it. Now, so far, making a smart contract, a lot easier than expected, not gonna lie. I thought it's going to be a gigabrain, super programmer, black magic, super hard thing to do, but apparently not. It is just 20 lines of code, and you got a new coin. However, at this moment, I realize this sentence, it is not ERC-20 compatible and cannot be expected to talk to other coin token contracts. So I have been lied to. This Meta coin here, it's not a real coin, it's a beta coin. What does ERC-20 mean? Whenever there are letters followed by numbers, it always means something serious. What is a ERC-20 token? So apparently ERC-20 token means fungible token. So in English, each coin is exactly the same as another coin. Okay, so it's like every other currency in the world. $1 is $1, something like that. Now, after some other search, I ended up in this GitHub repository, OpenZeppelin contract. Apparently, OpenZeppelin contract implements all the ERC standards. That means the source code of the coin contracts are here. Now, as a total nerd that I am, obviously, I'm going to dive into the ERC-20 code. So you got contract ERC-20's context here. Standard inheritance stuff, nothing special. All the functions are short and precise, which I like. The actual transfer function is actually very similar to MetaCoins. You add balance to the receiver and reduce balance from the sender, but with more condition checks. And then you have mint tokens. When you mint token, you add amount to total supply. You also add that amount to the balance of the minter. And then you can also burn coins, which is the reverse. As long as a smart contract implements all these functions, it is an ERC-20 token. What's cool about the Zeppelin code is that since OpenZeppelin already written all the code for you, the only thing you need to do is to inherit their standard. For example, this is the contract of Shiba Inu coin. What's important is this sentence. Is ERC-20. This means for all the functions that you did not override, directly use Zeppelin's implementation. The only thing Shiba Inu coin did is they made a constructor which will be executed when the smart contract is deployed. They minted some coins on deploy and then paid the fees. And also they allowed burning the coins. See the signature public here? It means anyone can burn their coins if they want to. Now, remember ERC-20 stands for fungible tokens? How about non-fungible token, aka NFTs. NFTs have a separate number. It's called ERC-721. I don't know where the numbers come from, but it is what it is. So the only difference between NFTs and NFTs, which are normal coins, is that each NFT has a variable token ID. Yep, that's it. Now, an important difference is the token ID is globally unique. So each NFT will have a different token ID. By the way, the uint256 here means an integer that is 256 bits long and is unsigned. If you're curious, that is between 0 and this number, very big number. Now you all know NFTs, they usually come with the image. Where does the image come from? So in the smart contract of an NFT, ERC-721 protocol, you need to implement a function called token URI. It takes in the token ID of the NFT and then returns the link to the image, or it can be a video, or it can be anything. It's a link. It's not even a link. It returns a string. Technically, it can be any string. And that's what all NFT is. A token that has a token ID, and you can get a link from the token ID. So those researches were enough to get me started on the coding part. Now you might be wondering why I know all this in the video, because this video is a recap. It's not recorded during the learning process. The learning process is not fun as a video. Anyways, I decided to get started by getting this truffle box NFT box. What's great about this box is that first, it comes with a smart contract of an NFT under ERC-721 standard, enumerable, which is slightly cooler. It basically means the smart contract can enumerate through all the NFTs. And also, it comes with a React frontend that you can use to mint a new NFT. So that's plenty for us to get started. This is what the frontend webpage looks like initially. It only has one functionality, which is to mint NFTs. Now, the first step of doing any NFT project is to have pictures or photos or whatever. I took some amazing picture of me, my cat, just amazing cat, my apple, my banana, my egg, which we are going to hatch, my orange, which is another amazing animal that we can breed with, and that's T-pose me to assert dominance on all the other animals. And then uploaded all the photos to the pinnacle of human engineering, Google Drive. Since NFT is just links, we are going to get our links on Google Drive. That's the spirit of decentralization. Now, a key difference between this egg and animal NFT and ordinary NFT is that the different NFTs, they can correspond to the same animal. In other words, one animal can have multiple NFTs. However, the NFT IDs are unique. So how do we do that? Remember this uint256 token ID? When we mint a new NFT, the smart contract decides what the new NFT's token ID is. In the default NFT truffle provide, the token ID is from a counter. So first NFT has ID as 0, second NFT has ID as 1, and etc, etc. However, since we have the power to decide what the token ID is, we can do some bit manipulation magic here. Now the uint256 basically means there are 256 bits, and each bit can be either 1 or 0. And here, this is only 32, 1/8 of 256. Already a lot of space for us to store data. I'm going to use the lower 4 bits to represent the animal type. Now 4 bits doesn't look like much, but it can represent a number between 0 to 15. That's enough for us to define the animals, since we have only 7 pictures. So I'm defining 0 as egg, 1 as me, 2 as apple, 3 as banana, 4, 5, 6. How do we make each NFT unique? Remember we have this counter here? We can just use that. It might be a little confusing if you're new to binary stuff, but the gist is the first bit we use them as a counter of the NFT. So the first NFT will be represented in the counter here as 0, the second F as 1, etc., etc. And that's separate from the type. Getting to the code, it looks like this. You take the token num, which is the 0 to 6 number, represents the animal type, and then you take the current count in the counter, left shift that for 16 bits, and then add the token num in the end. That generates our token ID. And to get the token URI, the picture link from your token ID, we first get the token num, which is the number between 1 to 7. This AND operation here means we are extracting the last 4 bits. If you don't know how that works, welcome to computer science. But once we get the number, everything becomes clear. We just need to return the link. 0 is egg, 1 is me, and 2 is another picture, 3 is another picture, etc., etc. Ugly code, but very easy. Now, the rest of the code is really straightforward, and I'm not going to deep dive here. The full code is shared in a GitHub link down in the description. If you want, you can check it out. I will quickly go over how my contracts work. I made 2 smart contracts here. First one is NFT collection, which is the animals and the eggs. The second is the coin that you can use to buy eggs. It's also ERC-20. Now, obviously, it's the entry point of the game. So first of all, obviously, you can buy egg. The buyer sends coin to the token owner, which is a pool wallet that holds all the coins. And then the coin smart contract costs the NFT smart contract to buy 1 egg. And the NFT smart contract now mints a new NFT egg and give it to the buyer. Now, after you buy egg, obviously you can hatch an egg, which is as simple as buying an egg. You give your egg to the token owner, which is the pool wallet again. And then the smart contract gives you a new NFT that represents an animal. Very simple. And then you can breed. Basically, you take 2 NFTs, you get their token number, do some math to get the new token number, and then it mints a new NFT of the animal and give it to you. Another thing you can do is get passive income. So this function here lists all of your NFTs and give you 1 coin per NFT. You can make it fancier and different animals give you different passive income. But I'm too lazy for that. But if you want to do that, it's literally a few more lines of code. And at last, you have burn animal, which I totally forgot you can get income for this. But that's 1 line of code, so I think it's fine to omit it here. Let me show you how this thing works in action. By the way, this is running on my personal blockchain because first off, you can buy coin using Ethereum. I set the prices, and I decided this is how much you can buy with 1 Ether. And then you can buy eggs. You have 1 egg, 2 egg. Look at my beautiful eggs. And then you can hatch eggs. Hatch becomes meat. Hatch another egg, becomes an apple. Let's get another egg. Hatch egg, another apple. Buy egg, hatch egg, buy egg, hatch egg, buy egg, banana. The others can go. Eat animal. Eat animal. Eat animal. Eat animal. Eat animal. Then we have 3 unique ones left. Me, banana, breed. Nice, we got my cat. I don't know how the math works, but it is what it is. Me and apple, breed. Orange, I guess that makes sense. They're both round and orange is kind of like an apple, right? Banana and apple, breed. T-pose me. So that is all the NFT on the chain, and I just got them in 1 minute. You can also get passive income. The 6 NFTs here gave me 6 coins, which is a lot of coins. Another cool thing, anything that mutates the states of the smart contract, like hatching an egg or buying an egg, you can see it as a transaction here in my personal blockchain. And here are all the blocks in mind. So that was the game that I just made in 2 days. Now, I didn't deploy the contract to a public chain because I don't see the point of publishing such a shitty game is. Maybe my mom would play that, but I don't think she really will. But again, the link is down in the description, and if you want, you can take the contract and publish it. That can be fun. Now, this video took me a lot of effort. It would be great if you smash like and subscribe now for the YouTube algorithm. But now, there's another thing that is not resolved. I just realized all the smart contracts are public, so the real CryptoZoo smart contract is public, and we can check it out. So, I just found CryptoZoo's smart contract on BSC scan, and here is the contract. Opens up in import, import, import. Finally, the contract, coin token, the secret code of the CryptoZoo coin smart contract. Okay, so the coin token, it is mintable. It is burnable, 1363. It is payable. All you can do is you can mint tokens, and you can burn tokens, and you can trade tokens. In the Zoo token contract, it defines the Zoo token as a regular coin, nothing gameplay related in it. So, CryptoZoo stores all the NFTs in 5 different contracts. Base egg, base animal, hybrid egg, hybrid animal, and this very sneaky one, CryptoZoo 1 of 1, which I don't know what it does. So, this is slightly different from my approach, where they use multiple contracts, and I use one contract for all the NFTs. Close enough. The base egg contract is the only contract available on the BSC scan. All the other contracts are unavailable. And while there's a bytecode for it, the decompiler didn't work for me, so I wasn't able to read the contracts. For base egg, the base egg has a very basic NFT contract. The only thing custom is the owner can mint egg. Although the contracts aren't public, the transaction of each of the NFTs is, as you can see, base egg has hatch egg method and buy method. Buy is obvious, you can buy eggs, and hatch eggs, let's go into that. How this transaction works is that it transfers one egg from the owner to a dead address. Very creative. In the same transaction, it mints a base animal to the egg owner. So exactly the same as what my code does. And in the hybrid egg contract, you can see breed transaction. It looks like the breed function takes in an input of the token ID of 2 different animals. And the output, obviously, is an hybrid egg. And at last, for hybrid animals, there's this method hatch. It takes in the token ID of the hybrid egg and then mints a hybrid animal, and then send the hybrid egg to dead. Again, very creative. So, according to the smart contract, you can buy egg, you can hatch base egg, you can breed animals to get hybrid egg, and at last, you can hatch hybrid egg into a hybrid animal. I cannot find any transaction of burning animals to get coins. Maybe that's where they screwed up. I do not know. Now, it looks to me that most function in CryptoZoo smart contract is actually working. Now, that doesn't mean the game is functional. To list a few problems, their website is saying it's undergoing upgrades and doesn't lead you to the game. You need to use this link to get into their market. And once you're in, you can try to buy egg. The button doesn't work. Yes, I'm trying to click here. It doesn't work. But these are all web front-end problems, not related to the back-end smart contract. Now, the most important question comes. Logan Paul promised he will fix the game. How viable is fixing the game? Now, we all know the game is broken. But as a professional software engineer, if you write in a bug report saying the product is broken, it will be rejected right there. And your manager is going to kick you in the balls. You gotta be very specific about what is broken. And for each bug, fix it separately. I don't know how exactly many bugs are in the game, and whether the bug is in the website or in the smart contract. In CryptoZoo's case, the difficulty of fixing this really depends on if the problem is in the smart contract. If the problem is in web frontend, they are really easy to fix and the fix can be deployed easily. However, if there is any problem in any of the smart contracts, whoever is trying to fix it is going to have a very hard time. Once a contract is deployed to a blockchain, it cannot be modified. So if there is a bug in their smart contract, if the contract is not set up to be upgradable, the only thing they can do is to deploy a new contract and migrate all the previous transactions onto the new contract. That would be a very complicated migration to do. Not to mention any change in the contract logic might affect the players negatively. To do this, Logan Paul really needs to hire someone that really knows what they're doing. But these people are expensive and they're hard to find. And to be honest, I'm not too confident in his hiring skills. There's one hope though. If the smart contract is working and there's no bug, which never happens, there's always some bug somewhere in every program. And all the gameplay logic, they are all hosted on smart contract, which it kind of look like it is, then you don't need Logan Paul to fix the game. That's right, smart contracts, they're publicly accessible. Any code monkey, like me, can develop a website that can interface with CryptoZoo's smart contracts and buy coins, buy eggs, hatch eggs, etc. All this requires is that Logan Paul open sources all the smart contracts. Don't share the private keys, that would be not wise. The Solidity source code of the contract is enough. Boys in your court, open source the smart contract now. Last of all, let me share some opinions I have on blockchain games. Video games, they all live on iteration. Not a single game comes out perfect. Imagine if League of Legends never received a single update and no new hero, new mechanics was ever created. No one will even touch the game, maybe after a few months. However, a smart contract is immutable. Very hard to iterate any game that is hosted on blockchain. And if you are upgrading your smart contract frequently, you are breaking the principle of decentralization anyway, because you are breaking your users' trust, because you can modify the contract to be whatever you want. If you treat blockchain games as a way of gambling and making money, that's fine. I support you doing whatever you are legally allowed to, but know that every cent one person makes in a crypto game, it comes out of the pocket of another person. And the person that loses the money could be you. It's actually very likely to be you. At least, when you gamble cryptos, please learn to read smart contract. And if the smart contract is not available anywhere, it's not open source, just try another game maybe, or make your own. It's not a fair scam. Not to you. Alright, that's about it. Let me know about any problem you have and leave it in the comments. I will try to get to them, and see you next time.